What is going on, everybody? I'm glad to have everyone here. We are excited, hanging out, watching some She-Hulk. Just got done watching the last episode. I'm gonna be joined today by a couple good close friends of mine. The first one I want to introduce you to is Lucas. Lucas, how you doing today, buddy?
Been a good day.
Yeah, are you excited about She-Hulk?
I am. I'm excited to do this. I've been,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, very, integral in a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and I've been really excited. I'm there tomorrow morning as well. So,
Awesome.
but
Yeah.
yes, I've been enjoying She-Hulk a lot.
And then our third guest today is going to be Trevor. Trevor, how are you doing today, buddy?
Oh, just great, my friend. Hanging out. It's been a long, good day, man. I'm stoked to be here.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what we're going to do today is we're just going to hang out and talk about She-Hulk. Get ready for the next episode, episode 8, I believe, right? If I remember correctly.
That is right.
We did just have a chance to watch the latest episode. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of go around the room and just talk about, our thoughts on it. I'm going to go first and just say, man, it was awesome. Like, I had a ton of fun. It was definitely hands down the best episode to me. I loved Manbull. I loved those characters. I loved the whole episode. I loved the Zen version of Abomination that we get is hilarious, of course. And I love, like I was saying earlier, just before we shut it off, is the soundtrack of it too, and how girly it is too, and it fits like her vibe and her feelings, and a lot of probably women can relate to it a lot more than we can, and I just think that's so awesome. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. She-Hulk, I guess overall has been kind of up and down for me. It's not been nothing that I've seen has been bad. Like with Hawkeye, there was times that I was really not enjoying myself. I'm having any of those kind of things this time, but I am definitely having times where it's not as good as I want it to be. And I feel like where it falls flat a lot of times is the fact that it's just not as funny as it should be, as considering it's a sitcom.
Right.
But then you have an episode like this that's just keeps you laughing the whole time.
It's almost classic sitcom setup.
Right.
too,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, for sure. Yeah, and it really is just it brings you back to the love that you have for these Marvel shows whenever you can get one of these good episodes. Right. And we only have a couple more, so we have 2 more. Still no post-credit scene, which kind of bums me out. It's been bumming me out and feels just weird since
First 4.
4 episodes in a row out of the gate we have a post-credit scene. And there's no excuse to it. I feel like they could have cut up anything. Like, I'm sure there's lots of things that didn't make
Right.
The cut,
so why not make something funny? Just use a little funny, even a blooper or an outtake, but just have her still in her She-Hulk. That'd be hilarious to see. And why not? It feels weird to have all of those and then not get any. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it does bum me out and it bothers me. And of course, more than anything, it keeps you waiting, right? Now we expect it is the problem.
Right.
So
Either
now I'm
do it or
sitting on the
don't.
couch and I'm waiting an extra 5 minutes, or I'm fast forwarding to see if there is something. And then of course, we're all waiting on Daredevil. So
yeah.
So we're
that was
thinking,
the last post credits.
right? And so we're thinking gonna see next. We're eventually gonna see him at least in a post credit scene first or something. But no, none of that yet.
Nope.
So we have a couple episodes left. I'm definitely excited to see Daredevil. I did see a small leaked clip of him and She-Hulk, and it looked super badass. It looked really cool. Surprising that they're deciding to do what they did, but not at all because it's just very typical, but just a little surprise. And hopefully we see that tonight, but probably not until the very last 5 minutes of the last 13-minute episode. And that's been another one of my complaints about She-Hulk is it's just been too short. Now, it's really convenient when, in a time like this where we want to quickly throw it on before, we start a show because, it's 15 minutes. And so we got time to do it and stuff like that. So those are my biggest complaints about She-Hulk. My biggest things that I like about it are obviously that you know, as you guys know from around here, and you can see on Lucas's wall, there's lots of Hulk stuff. So I'm a big Hulk fan. It was great to see a Banner or Hulk or whatever we're calling him now in the first episode. But again, it was my least favorite because it felt the most MCU. It felt the most like this has to be here, and I hated that about it. And but it also it worked because they moved away from that quickly. Like it quickly became. It does not feel this. I think we can all agree that this does not feel like any of the other Marvel shows that we've seen. This is definitely more of like a sitcom type of thing.
Right.
And then you know, it is called She-Hulk Attorney at Law, and it would just have been cool. You know, I was expecting this procedural where every episode we would get this new case that she's working that kind of opens up our eyes to the, you know, street level version of what goes on and
They may still be building to that, but I will say for sure I agree with you because, like, there were a couple episodes, you know, Emil Blonsky versus the People, and then the one following, there were cases back to back, even with the side characters like Pug and stuff, which I feel like we don't get enough of Pug.
Yeah, right.
That dude is
right.
hilarious.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. The whole law firm is really good, and I wish
Right.
we'd get more of that because again, it is called She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So other than that, I'm enjoying She-Hulk. I mean, now I'm super hyped that we just watched that last episode. It's definitely going to get me through this next hour and a half because now I can't wait to watch this next one. And again, once it's out, we only got about 15 minutes before it's over. So we'll find out 15 minutes or so after if Daredevil's in it or what's going on. But anyway, I'm going to kick it over to Lucas. And Lucas, you know what, you're all the way caught up on She-Hulk. You know, first off, you know, let's start with this episode. What was your thoughts on the episode we just watched, episode 7?
I agree. It's definitely my favorite episode. I mean, we were talking about it.
Can you push your laptop top down a little bit?
Yeah.
Other way. Perfect.
Yeah, we were talking about it before we even rewatched it, that it's definitely my favorite episode. Overall, I've really, really enjoyed She-Hulk, actually. You know, usually we're here every single week for them, but for some reason, there were a couple weeks that we weren't for this, and those were probably more like the episodes that we didn't enjoy as much, but now that it's like really picking up steam, it feels like, and really, you know, getting its ground, I'm really enjoying it. Like the retreat, it's just so funny.
Right,
the just so
stuff's
funny.
great.
Right.
I loved Tim Roth. Like you didn't even need to see him as Abomination. It would have like ruined it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the whole the whole Man Bull thing. It's so funny, so funny.
I've got off the rails. Somebody help me. That's great. That's great. Well, what are your thoughts on the series overall so far, and where do you put it in what we've seen on Disney Plus when it comes to the Marvel series so far?
I didn't hate Hawkeye as much as you, but I will say Hawkeye's probably the lowest. So above that, clearly. I don't know. I really enjoyed Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel's up towards the top. WandaVision, Loki, up towards the top. I mean, they're not at all similar shows, but I'm kind of enjoying it on the same level as maybe like Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Cool. Yeah, I feel about the same.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really enjoying it.
Pretty good comparison.
Trevor,
Pretty easy.
You just had a chance to catch up finally on the last episode
Sure did.
of She-Hulk. We just checked out, and it seemed like you were enjoying yourself. What are your thoughts on this last episode?
Well, honestly, I felt like it was the first one that I actually like loved. A lot of the other episodes, I didn't feel like I disliked any of the episodes, kind of like you said, but like some of them I liked, like the wedding episode, I really quite enjoyed, and I thought the girl from I think she's in The Good Place. She's so funny as that character, and she understands the assignment of being like just a ridiculous supermodel that has superpowers. She's great, but this one it felt like it really had its footing as far as the tone of the episode went, and all of the jokes really landed. There's some other ones where the jokes I'm like, man, that kind of fell flat. It didn't really feel like you were telling a joke. You just were saying stuff. But this last one was great. In general, with She-Hulk, I feel like I'm glad it is in the MCU because it is a type of show that I probably just wouldn't ever stumble upon. Just the tone of it and the way that it kind of its mechanics and everything.
Yeah,
But-
if it wasn't a Hulk,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, we probably wouldn't be watching.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like it's a little chicky, you know, which I don't like. It's like a little like how a romantic comedy tends to attract females more for some reason, you know. It's that same kind of thing. Like, but now that I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it. Like, which honestly is pretty true of most of the romantic comedies I've ever watched. Is like, oh, I'm here now. I enjoyed it, but. Yeah, I've enjoyed it quite a bit. That one made me laugh a lot. Maybe there were a couple of times when I was feeling, you know, and I mean that's such a relatable situation. You know, you meet
for
someone
sure.
and
Right.
you're so excited, and you wake up the
Right.
next day and you're like, okay, they're not here, but
And then,
it's
no, my favorite one was the one she sends later. Where she's like, "Hey, gotta get a little worried about you. Bless your face." I'm like, "No, I've done that way too many times." To,
oh my
you know,
god,
yeah.
and you know I'll wait like a day, but it's your will can only do so much.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've been really enjoying it, like I said, and I'm super excited for this next episode. So one of the next things I want to talk about is just what we expect or what we want to see in the next episode. So clearly, we're all probably going to say Daredevil. We all want to see Daredevil,
Leapfrog, right?
and the idea of only seeing him in the last episode is kind of like a fuck you kind of situation. Yeah. But at least we would get him, I guess. But it would be nice to get him now. It would be nice to have him for a couple of episodes so we can enjoy, you know, an introduction to this character a little bit more properly. Because we have this, you know, what was it, 18 episode or 22 episode
I think
season?
it's 18.
Yeah, of Daredevil coming to Disney Plus and
Right.
and bringing this, you know, pretty much, you
Born
know,
again.
yeah,
Quite literally.
Right.
new version that's, you know, kind of based off of the Netflix series, and yeah, and we're all excited about it. Everyone loves the Daredevil series. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I'm super excited to see this one because, you know, Disney's doing it and it's probably going to be pretty good. The Born Again storyline is great. You know, it fits so well into him coming back too. And I think we see a lot darker version, a lot more sinister version of Matt Murdock or Daredevil, and I can't wait to see that. I don't want to wait another episode. I want to see it tonight, and we stay up where, you know, where we are. We have to stay up till 2 a.m. to watch these shows,
Yeah.
and so I don't.
For 15 minutes.
You know, right.
Yeah.
I don't
Werewolf
wanna
by
have to-
Night's going to be one.
I don't want to have to wait up and wait up and wait up, you know. So
3 hours
we do.
plus another week.
But we do.
right.
Yeah.
And the thing is that there's only 2 episodes left, and again, like we were talking about just a little bit ago, I mean, there's only 15 minutes an episode, so theoretically, there's 30 minutes of this series left. And we may get like what, a minute and a half, 2 minute and a half screen time of Daredevil, and that sounds just annoying.
Right, and I gotta know. Like, I see the thing is for me with Daredevil is I'm excited that they're bringing it back, but I'm also nervous because that show is so mature.
Yeah, I know
and
you
Disney-
really enjoy the Daredevil
Dude,
series.
it's one of my favorite shows of all time. Like, I love all of those shows on the Defenders series. But Daredevil, like, they're all cool, fun shows. But they're like there's a lot of those shows that are that good. But Daredevil, I would put up there for me with like fucking Game of Thrones. I think it's that good.
Really?
Yeah, seriously, I think it's one of the greatest shows ever made. But and so as a result, I'm like nervous because I'm like, well, this is a whole new crew. They're not even bringing back the original people to make it, and I'm like, okay. I have a lot of faith in Disney, but I'm also like, the shows have been hit and miss. And I'm like, dude, if you're gonna bring this show back, I need you to hit it out of the park. And I'm kind of like, dude, I need more than 5 minutes to like convince me that you are definitely gonna treat this thing with respect. You know.
Well,
And
that's the thing of it, though, is that it's not. They're not bringing it back. It's not season 4 of it. But
Right.
it's Matt Murdock.
But
It's the same
and there's
cast.
going to be a bunch.
I'm
Some
gonna be
of them
thinking
at
about
least.
it the whole time.
Right.
Sure, which is why they're doing it. But
Right.
at the same time, it is separate.
And different. Yeah.
And
for
it's
sure.
in the multiverse. It's the same multiverse.
They can wink nudge that as all I want, but I am ultimately going to feel and think all about that show. And if it doesn't, I mean, I'm not asking for it to be as good. I'm just, just treat it respectfully, because there have been a few times that I feel like they've taken characters from other worlds and they've not fully respected the hard work of it, kind of thing, and I'm nervous, I'm excited, but I don't know. I want to see more of him in this show and like get a feel of like how they're going with it, and maybe we only get 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah. I totally understand. And the thing is you're passionate about it because you love that show.
I do.
It's clear. It's evident. You just said that it may be your favorite show ever.
Yeah,
so
it's one of them.
So that's pretty high. That's pretty
Up
high
there
praise.
over
So
Game of
so of course you're gonna,
It's in
of course you're going to have pretty high expectations.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
but really you're part of the reason that they chose to cast what's his name that plays Matt Murdock.
Charlie Cox.
Yeah, Charlie Cox
Yeah.
as Matt Murdock, because there's already that built-in fan base, like you, Trevor. There's these people that already love that series. I mean, of all the Netflix series, it was the one that really made all the other ones possible. It was the one
It
that
was the first, yeah.
yeah, it's the one that continued to be good all the way.
Right.
It continued to receive good reviews all the way through.
Right.
So it makes sense. And like I said, when you're really passionate about something, of course you want to see it succeed, especially when it's been so long since you've had it.
Yeah,
And they're
right.
bringing it back, you just want to see more of it, and you want it to be good, and you want it to be, the same, and I'm sure that they're gonna do enough to honor, the true fans, and also, make it different enough that he's not that same guy, but either way, I'm.
Do I understand right that so it is going to be one season of 22 episodes?
18 episodes.
18?
I think we said.
Hey, that makes me quite excited, because like that's one thing about these Disney shows that I've always kind of been like, hey man, like just I want more. Like my biggest complaint with Moon Knight was like they were telling a big ass story and they only gave it 6 episodes, and I was like, man, if you were to stretch this out a little bit more, if you were to give like each one of these episodes
remember
more
when we
time.
found out She-Hulk was getting 9 and we were like,
Yeah,
like
right.
WandaVision.
Exactly. I'm just, I'm 18. I'm like, man,
that's twice 9.
literally 2 times. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
That's
and
cool.
that's definitely exciting, and that also gives you, some faith that they're gonna do some justice to this storyline that's deep in this character, who again, already has a built-in fan base that kind of expects that. The Netflix series were definitely like 20 episodes, were they not?
Yeah, they were 13, so it's even longer than that.
They were how long
13 each.
Yeah.
each? And there was
Yeah.
All right.
how
There
many
was
of them?
3 seasons.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. There was 30 some episodes of that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So we're definitely looking forward to I'm looking forward to Daredevil. Lucas, going over to you. What are you expecting out of tonight's episode of She-Hulk? What do you want to see? What do you think we'll see? What do you think?
I mean, I try not to go into anything with too many expectations, just so it doesn't ruin it. That being said, I fully expect Daredevil to be in this. I do. I think we've waited too long, and I think it makes the most sense in the story to do it. And that thing that leaked. feel like that's gonna be tonight. You know,
Yeah.
it just makes sense, and I
Yeah,
agree with
you're
you.
right.
Like,
Right about that.
you know, they said he was gonna be in what 2-3 episodes. I felt like I remember hearing they said he was gonna be in 2 or 3 episodes.
I mean, it can't be 3, right?
Well, technically, technically
Oh,
speaking,
okay.
the suit
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the third,
Sure.
it would be the third
Sure,
episode.
sure,
And
sure,
Marvel
sure.
would pull some stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
can see it.
that's 3. That's 3 episodes. 3 of content, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I fully expect to see that, but if not, I'm not going to be too upset, I guess, as long as it's not 5 minutes in the finale. But I have a good feeling about it. I have a good feeling. I guess the only thing I could be worried about of these last 2 episodes is I feel like it's just found its ground at
The end.
well, no, not at the end. Like I feel like it's just found its ground,
No, the
its
series,
footing
I'm sorry.
in itself. Yeah,
I mean, the whole series is kind of just finding its footing.
right.
And
But
now it's
that
the
would,
end.
but that would
Right.
be okay. Right, that would be okay if it were, you know, any other show. Even 2 episodes, it could do it justice.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about with this is because it is a Marvel movie. I worry if the last 2 episodes or even the last episode is going to be like the first episode, and just that it has to be more Marvel-y, and it's going to lose the like comedy thing else that it's gained along
That's a good point.
this journey so far.
Yeah, and
That's a good point.
I mean, I hope I have a good feeling about it. I mean, I feel like overall, other than even the first episode wasn't that bad. It just
No,
was
it
trying to
wasn't
do
bad.
so much.
so other
with it,
other
yeah.
than Daredevil, any other expectations
Leap
or
Frog?
speculations? Sure,
Luke
sure,
Frog's
sure.
gonna be in it.
But nothing else.
I
Do
kind of
we
feel
see
like
Banner again at some point? Do we
I
get
feel
any
like-
more of that, or
I
is
feel
that
like
over?
we'll get. I feel like we'll get some more Banner maybe by the end of it. I don't know. I just feel like that's. I guess I could go either way. Because if they're setting up like a World War Hulk movie, and that's all you see of him, you know, is him leaving.
Over under 30%, we get Bruce Banner before this series is over.
I say over 30% chance.
Trevor,
I
over
feel
or
like
under
you could get,
30%?
like phone
Over
call,
30.
Over. So you're both
Phone
gonna
call?
take over.
like a
Over
phone call.
30?
Yeah, we did get we have gotten a phone call too.
Another
right?
one. Yeah. Well, the first one that says I got some stuff to take care.
Right.
of.
But man, it seemed
What
like
was the second one? I feel like there was the second one, right?
it seems like the one where he calls from the ship, and it's
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that was the one where he's like, I got some stuff to take care of. When he's like, yo, that was literally a different person, you know, about the like
yeah, that's
abomination.
Yeah,
It's that in the first episode, right?
yeah, for sure.
I felt like there was one later on. I might be.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, but either way, yeah, just
He is seemingly in deep space, so I guess maybe he can get around quick. But I mean, I don't know.
right. Yeah, I mean,
No.
if he's on a ship
Maybe-
heading off
yeah.
planet, it seems unlikely that we see him. But anyway, I digress. Go ahead with your speculation or things you may want to see.
Now that you mentioned it, I would like to see Bruce Banner again. Yeah, he was. I just like.
Red Hulk.
I just love. Yeah.
Ethan is somewhere shouting Red Hulk right now.
No, Ethan's somewhere shouting like the gray one because I was
Scar.
just talking to him.
He
Too.
loves Scar.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, give me
Or
hippie Hulk.
A-bomb,
Give me
the blue
hippie
one.
Hulk, and that's all I want.
A-bomb. Yeah, he's a big A-bomb fan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Trevor, what do you expect tonight from She-Hulk? Or what do you want to see? What do you think we will see?
Okay. What I expect to see, honestly, I have no idea what I'm expecting to see. These episodes, honestly, every single one, I'm like, didn't expect that's what's coming next. Like, there doesn't seem to be like with WandaVision, every episode there was like a kind of building upon the last one, like, and it was like building into momentum. This one's kind of been more like, here's some stuff that's happening with She-Hulk. Here's some more stuff happening with She-Hulk. I would expect that that the bulk of the episode actually starts to have some more to do with the Hulk, King Hulk thing, which I
The
hope.
Hulk King thing with
Yeah.
with her blood. Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm sure this is what it means is that they're finally gonna make Kingpin huge, which is totally cool with me. I would imagine that's what that means, but maybe not. But what I want to happen is just one whole episode of Madison and Wong together, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Just drinking, shooting the shit.
We don't want one whole episode. We want the Wong and Madison with a Y.
Wongers.
Yeah.
And not where you think it is.
Two
Not
ends
what
and
you
one
think
word.
it
is.
It's not
We
what
want
you
this series,
think.
Disney Plus. You heard it
Please.
here.
You
Screen
heard it
Talk
here.
Live. We
Let's
all
let go.
want to see
Wongers and Madison.
the Wongers and Maddie. We want to
Right.
see that series.
Put it in Echo's spot,
like almost
bro.
a
I don't need
romantic
Echo.
comedy of best friends. Like I want Wong to come home and his dates didn't go
And what
well.
we're making
Right.
And they're
demands-
like, she's like, no, like we're gonna watch the Sopranos.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Maybe they
Drink
get through
Yak
Sopranos,
Milk and
they start a
vodka,
new
you know?
show.
yeah,
Like,
right, yeah, and I would definitely. Who doesn't want to see that? That's a great point to bring up. I forgot about Wong and Maddie. Yeah, I would love to see more of that.
Or at very least some like a continuous YouTube series where you're just checking in on them. I mean, how much could that cost? You're telling me Wong wouldn't just come on set and hang out with Madison in the costume and just fucking shoot the shit? Let's go. Come on.
Shoot, you could probably film a ton of those in a day.
Right while they're on set, just
hanging out
Oh, come
in
on.
costume,
All those people involved are funny enough. They could figure out some funny shit.
Two ends and one
I'd watch
line.
that shit
It's
for
not
sure.
where you think.
She might be my favorite character in this whole show.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, it was great. Their
is
little
funny.
playoff.
I almost forgot about that till we just said that. Yeah.
Man.
Their little playoff of each other was brilliant.
Right.
Okay, so next question I want to ask is something that got teased. I want to say episode 1 or 2 in the first couple of episodes, but we just now are kind of getting to the climax of it. My question is for you guys: what's going on with the blood? So we know that the blood's being taken now. Are we going to see that in this next episode? And if we do, what do you think it amounts to? Is who's trying to take her blood? Why are they trying to take her blood? And is it a serious enough character that we would know who it is? Does it turn out to be, Victor Von Doom doing
knew
this
you were
or
gonna say that.
or something like that? Lucas, what do you think?
Well, I mean, she had her blood taken again in the end of this last one.
Right.
Yeah, right. So I think that that is going to be where the story is.
Well, they
moving
were
forward.
trying to take her blood in the first one, but she was in Hulk form.
Right.
So they were unable
finally
to do
got
it.
seduced into Gen form.
Right.
So clearly, I think that we are going to see something in it. I mean, as for who wants it, that could be anybody. It could be what's her name, the Countess from Thunderbolts. I mean, people have
Tim
wanted,
Blake Nelson.
No, Julia Ray-Dreyfus.
I'm just saying.
Good.
right?
That's the guy,
Could be.
Tim Lake Nelson.
I mean,
The leader
Use it.
Yeah,
could
yeah.
totally be looking for that. one.
No, but I mean, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
People have wanted Bruce Banner's blood, Captain Rogers' blood forever. You know what I
Right.
mean? To do this,
Right.
Because they knew it was going to do it. And man, I mean, I don't know, because I'm wondering if it's going to be self-contained to just She-Hulk, or if it is going to have ramifications outside. If it is deleted, and if so, does that mean we're going to get to see a Tim Blake Nelson cameo in this? By the end of this,
I would be totally down for that.
I mean, I
I'm
would
always
say,
down
don't
for
get me
some
wrong, I'll see
TBG.
anything. He's so funny, man.
Yeah, for
Dope.
sure. I love, especially as the leader. I love the leader.
Yeah, I was so. Yeah.
And we just got
Yeah.
the tease, and it was years ago. And we just got the announcement, so it wouldn't be.
I mean, it was kind of like Kang.
Yeah.
You remember
it
they
wouldn't be
announced
unheard of for them to throw. I mean, and he's not he's not one of those characters like we said, like Doom, where it's like, what's he doing here? Where it's too big and just too
random.
out of place. But it also fits in with the Hulk, and
For sure.
and the Hul- and
The
this
continuation of the storyline.
whole thing
for sure.
too. So that would totally make sense, right?
Right.
Yeah, be him maybe. I don't know. I'm not so sure about Kingpin.
Yeah, I don't feel like. it
But
could be
that,
King.
I mean, that's
bet a lot
interesting
on
because
Kingpin.
Hulk King,
Yeah, right.
and it
King
is
Hulk.
Never
Daredevil,
made that
and
connection.
it is Daredevil too that's coming in too.
Yeah, never made the
I'd
connection.
bet the lot on Kingpin.
I mean, plus
For sure.
Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back too.
And he is big like the
Right,
Hulk.
and it's in the Marvel series now, and it's not changing a
Well,
ton. but it's
Vincent
changing a
D'Onofrio's
little.
not coming back. Vincent D'Onofrio's
It's back.
you know.
Hawkeye, yeah.
Right,
That's part
exactly.
of Hawkeye. Well,
Yep.
no, I take it back. Jack. was the best part of Hawkeye. You know what I mean?
Jack, the swordsman.
The
Yeah,
swordsman,
he was,
yeah,
Oh,
he's
God.
definitely the best.
he
part
was
of
the only
Hawkeye.
part of that I was like, oh, this is fun.
Continuously, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Haley Stein.
I like her as an actress. I didn't love the character. The character was sometimes. I didn't hate the character. There was some times where I really liked the character, but there's just moments where I just wasn't that interested in the character. She just didn't draw me in too much.
Right, and as your main character, you definitely want to have some sort of love or relation to it. So I totally get that.
And
But
it's
Trevor,
definitely not.
What do you
Back
think?
to-
What do you think about the blood? Who's trying to get the blood? Why do they want it? What are they gonna do with it? And who is it trying to get it?
Dude, I'm betting a lot on Kingpin. I mean, to me, it only makes sense. The last time we saw Kingpin, he was theoretically shot, so he's probably looking for some kind of way to
In the face.
Yeah, right. To like get better, and then the Kingpin we all know from the comics is fucking huge.
I mean, like,
and what better
into the
way?
Spider-Verse, you
What
know?
better way could you make him big and already, like we said, crossing over with Daredevil as She-Hulk, than to fucking give him some Hulk blood? I don't know how it would
Yeah, that
work,
is a great
but
point because if you think about it, the version of Kingpin that we got, which is funny because now it really could all really come full circle, is because the version of Kingpin we got was kind of that silly one, like from the comics with the Hawaiian shirt and stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, he's
And-
still bigger than he was.
Yeah,
in
he's
the
bigger,
Daredevil
but he's
show,
not
but-
powerful. He wasn't a super powered person,
Hulking being,
right? So it would
yeah.
make sense too that he would potentially want the blood so he can
Totally.
turn himself into what we would know as like the Kingpin.
and it would make sense in the series of Daredevil too. How it? Well, I don't want to spoil. I mean, he gets beat by Daredevil, and if you haven't seen it already, get on it. Whatever. But he gets beat by Daredevil. So the last time we saw those two together, he got beat. So I mean, in all ways, story wise, Kingpin's ready for that upgrade, and I don't think it would have made sense in that kind of serious tone, in that more realistic universe that Netflix created. But it totally makes sense in this universe. It makes total sense to have Giant Kingpin. I kind of want to see it. I want to see.
You kind of have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
Right, in a world of Hulks and
purple
shit.
people coming down
Right,
from the
exactly.
space with stones and
What are you, a sort of
whatever.
island dude? Like,
Yeah.
Giant
trees,
uh,
talking trees,
giant stone celestials the size of
frozen
just
in the Arctic
in the
somewhere.
beach, or in the Arctic somewhere that no one has really noticed, and another one that's just
Vampires are running
floated
around
over
somewhere.
the sky and was like, "I'll be back to judge you all."
Show me what you got.
Right, but it was right, but it
show me what you got.
it's so true though. It's so true though. It's basically what it is, right? And then it turned into one of those situations where the whole world was in the filming of Don't Look Up when that happened. Because nobody's nobody's seen it. Nobody's talking about it.
Hollywood thinks it's
on
very
an
hard to
obscure
look up.
website. No, it's not on TV.
I mean, people are talking about the one frozen in the Arctic.
Who is talking about
I
it?
can't remember. I feel like it was on She-Hulk.
Yeah, there's like an article,
Little
like a little
newspaper
obscure
clip,
article,
something like
we
that,
see
yeah.
that's like also says like man with claws gets into a bar fight.
Yeah.
right. So again,
It was on
so
TV, yeah, a little
This is
news.
our no. It was on the computer, and she was looking at the dating
yeah,
websites
yeah.
and stuff. But again, but we haven't seen it really affect. I mean, how would this be affecting millions and technically billions?
Right, wouldn't people
8
reference it?
billion people. How are they affected by this, 12-eyed thing coming over the sky and saying, "Show me what you've got"? Like
Oh, can they even see him though? You know what I mean? Because he's what, Erishim, the
judge,
the
right,
judge,
sure.
the big one. I mean,
Yeah.
like, we don't know what power.
what about the
he's got.
frozen one in the Arctic? Can they see that son of a bitch?
I mean, they can because it's
Surely some people
You know,
can, my
yeah,
God.
they didn't explain it. The whatever. the
Eternals
physics
feels
of
like it doesn't
but-
even really exist in that universe. Like it doesn't feel like anything that happened mattered in that movie, and it doesn't feel like anything that's happened since has mattered from that movie. Like it just felt like I didn't hate Eternals, but like it just kind of like even after, it doesn't feel like it mattered in any way. I mean, no one's mentioned anything from it ever, right? Am I wrong? Have they been like, oh, hey, did you see that crazy battle where a fucking giant robot almost fucking came out of the sky or came out of the ground?
Yeah, we just talked about it. It's on She-Hulk. They talk about the. There's been a couple of them. I mean, he showed up in a Bollywood. There was like a Bollywood poster.
But like
or
you were
something
saying,
with him.
you know, we got back to the topic at hand.
Sure, but subliminal.
Back to the topic at hand, talking about you know, Vincent D'Onofrio's
Hulk King.
Kingpin, right? Is you may be right, man. You really may be onto something.
The more I
because
think about it,
the more I'm having time to process what you're putting down, the more I'm thinking, damn, there might be something to this that I kind of missed. And it makes sense too that you would pick it up and I wouldn't if you know you love the series as much as you do, because your brain, as you're watching this, you're looking for anything Daredevil too, at all times. So your brain seeing King and immediately thought Kingpin, which is funny because my brain seen King and immediately thought, I don't know why, but I guess because we're dealing with Hulk, but I thought Hulkling.
Okay.
I did too, dude. I literally had it pulled up before because I wanted to. It sounds like a Hulk King,
like
Hulkling,
right.
And I feel like I remember them talking about. Maybe
now,
tripping,
now the Hulkling character isn't related to Hulk in any way. I mean, truly the Hulkling character, his favorite superhero is Hulk. So he takes on the mantle, the name like Hulkling in honor of Hulk because he loves him. And he just happens to be like a green beast-looking thing. He's not a Hulk, but yeah. So it wouldn't really make sense. But again, my brain for some reason went there. But it makes so much sense that your brain, of course, went straight to Kingpin. Yeah. Now let's take Kingpin off the table, Trevor. So let's say Kingpin isn't an option. Who wants this blood?
A lot of people. I mean, I don't think that this is gonna happen, but I mean, I imagine Doctor Doom would want that blood,
right?
Or Doctor Doom would want any kind of like powered thing, and he would be operating very much in the shadows in a capacity that we haven't seen yet because we literally haven't seen him.
Right. Yeah. Or I mean, what about Elaine from Steinfeld? You know, like she could totally want the blood, right?
Yeah, she could. Yeah, and they have.
That's what I'm saying with Thunderbolts. I mean, that could make sense because I heard a rumor about them doing like a whole army of Hulks and Thunderbolts or something like that, and you know what I mean, like.
Man, I just had another thought just sitting here, having more time to process Trevor's thing. You know, if you really start to think about it, you know, and think of. We got to meet the guy again that attacked, you know, Jennifer in the first episode that tried to take her blood, you know. If you remember that group of guys, what were they like?
Are you talking about the dude in
Yeah. Those dudes were like a ragtag group of fucking, you know.
You think you got power?
Right,
strut around using your like, dude, almost.
Who do those dudes work for?
Who got hired by him? Who did that?
Right. Who hired those guys? I mean, to me, it would make
so
much sense that Kingpin.
Dude, you know what I mean?
Kingpin hired the tracksuit mafia.
Right, of
course. Right.
Right.
So he has a history of kind of hiring these derelict, you know, not so great at what they are individuals that are kind of these, like I said, ragtag groups.
He's the Kingpin of the underworld. So he doesn't have the best options.
Right. So it totally, that makes sense too. Sorry to get off to steal the topic or steal the subject, but it also, that made sense to me when I was thinking about it. I was also thinking, you know, well, let's look at the people that got sent, you know, what's different about them. And then when you think about it, the people that got sent were kind of silly and like normal, like just would Victor Von Doom send those dudes? No, right?
He's sending killers.
Right. So there's a big difference, but it seems definitely like someone Kingpin would send, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Especially something small like that, you know what I mean?
Right, for sure.
Well, is that small to him though? Or is that huge? I mean, I guess it depends on what we don't know. What's
I feel like big to him is the tracksuit mafia. You know what I mean? Versus
but the tracksuit mafia is kind of gone now, right? You know?
Nah.
Well, aren't they? I mean,
nah, bro.
Sure, but they're not working for, for Kingpin anymore, are they?
Why?
I mean, things didn't go so well for him, right?
They're about to go a lot better for him.
Maybe.
Smash.
But if that would be true, then we would have probably seen the tracksuit mafia get sent to draw the blood. So then it maybe isn't Kingpin.
Maybe unless the tracksuit mafia you said messed up.
Yeah,
And he's like, get him out of here. I'm
I
tired of the
think-
bros.
I think if I hired a
Time
bunch of
bust.
dudes and was paying them money to protect me, and then I got shot in the face,
Yeah, for sure.
I'd probably have to fire him.
yeah, it'd be difficult for me to rehire those dudes and trust them to be around me again.
Once you get shot in the face, it's kind of done for the protection business.
Yeah,
Right.
bro.
And there's also a comic of Kingpin where he does get shot
Yeah.
and he goes blind, and that's obviously what they're doing, which is hilarious and ironic because his nemesis is obviously blind. But anyways, so the blood, I definitely wanted to talk about that and what we thought. So moving forward, so since we know we're talking a lot about Daredevil now, and we're on that subject, let's talk quickly about our thoughts of the Daredevil series coming out and our excitement for it. So I'm not as big of a fan probably as either one of you guys are of the Daredevil series that Netflix made. And to be completely and totally fair, I haven't also seen very much of it. It was hard for me to get through the first few episodes, and everyone's told me, even I believe you guys have told me at times or point, like, you got to get through those first few episodes. And that may be true, and I believe it. There's a lot of series out there like that, but just it's also old, and there's just so much to, as we talk about all the time here, is that we're in the golden age of television, so there's just so much to watch. So for me to get a chance to watch it when The Boys comes out tomorrow, and the Mandalorian season this comes out, and then Stranger, it's just real difficult to get back to it. So, but that being said, I guarantee you, right before this comes out, we'll all sit down, I'm sure, and get caught back up, and I'll see it all. So I'll get to that point. And when I do, I think I'll enjoy it now more than I tried then, because I'm also a lot bigger fan of the MCU now too, and this will be part of that, this new thing, and just knowing that and looking forward to knowing that there's some connective tissue here. It may not be the same exact Matt Murdock or the same whatever, but it is still Charlie Cox playing the character, so there's enough connective tissue that it's cool to look back and see these. You said 3 episodes are seasons, right? Mm-hmm. So you have 3 seasons, of 10 plus episodes, 30 or more episodes of kind of history for the character. So
Plus Defenders.
right. So I definitely want to go back and check that out before it comes out. So, but that being said, so me not being the biggest fan, I will say that I'm pretty excited. I just loved the first shot that we got, seeing that he was going to be in that yellow costume again. I thought was really cool. And it also gives me hope, and it should give everyone in this room hope, because for the better part of about 2 decades now, we've all kind of known that we couldn't and haven't gotten Wolverine in his yellow suit.
Right.
And now we know we're getting Wolverine back, and we're also getting him in this. We're not getting him in anything. We're getting him in Deadpool 3, which is just made to be stupid. So even if we get even like a cut of like, he's like, oh, let's go get in our costumes, and we cut to Hugh Jackman in that one for a second. He's like, this one's not mine, and Deadpool's just laughing. Like, that would be hilarious in itself. But it would be
Good
so cool
Easter
to
egg,
finally
too,
see
to
that.
set that up later.
Right. It would be
Yeah.
finally so cool to see that that original yellow costume of Wolverine. So it excited me to see the yellow one of Daredevil, because it looks pretty good on the screen, and I think that it, like I said, it may
If it can work for Daredevil.
yeah, or making room for Wolverine to
All right.
to wear his OG suit. And again, we haven't really got to see that. And there's other ones. There's other iterations that are more of like an orangish, brownish color, and those are cool too. But come on, man, when we think of
the yellow
Wolverine,
and blue.
there's only
one.
one
Yellow and
version of
blue.
Wolverine that comes to our heads. I mean, and not only that, the part that in my mind, the reason it has to happen is because this probably will be the last time Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine.
Right.
And Hugh Jackman, I've said this for years. I've told you guys that one day I feel bad for the guy that has to take on the name the Wolverine and play that role because people know and love Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine so much that they're gonna want to immediately reject whoever else gets put into that role.
Yeah, right.
And the proof positive of that again is go back to Days of Future Past when we need who are we gonna get? We got all these characters. We've already started a whole new trilogy. We had one movie came out, no Wolverine in it. And now we have the second movie in that trilogy coming out. And all the old characters we have playing, their younger selves now, right? And they're like, well, who could we get to play Wolverine's young self?
Hugh Jackman. Well, it makes sense too, though. It makes sense too, though, as the character, right? Because he's been around. He's looked the same.
Sure, you can make it make sense.
Nah,
sure,
yeah,
but my point is is that when they realized when making that movie, we can't cast someone else as Wolverine. that works for all these other things. It really does. But if we do, people aren't going to hate this movie. Right. The people that hated X-Men First Class literally hated it. You know why?
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Because he wasn't in it.
That's right.
And so then we're going to give him
Wolverine,
but it's not Hugh Jackman.
Well, he was in it a little bit, right? He was, because when they were going around recruiting, he comes into the bar and he's like, fuck off, right?
Oh, sure. Right. But yeah, either way. So yeah, and so I was excited to see Daredevil in that yellow suit. And I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, Trevor, I think for me what stands out is that we're finally going to get, what feels like enough breathing room for one of these series to actually catch its breath and get going. Right. When a lot of these things were, we were just saying with She-Hulk, it feels like it's really starting to finally hit its stride and figure out what it really wants to be. But it's only 2 episodes left. And, and that kind of stuff just sucks. And again, also what we just talked about is how excited we were when we found out She-Hulk was 9 episodes. Like I said, we were like, 9? Yeah, 9, because why? Because we were used to getting 4 or 6 or whatever. Like,
it's just not long enough, man.
No, it really isn't. It really wasn't. And yeah, so the first thing that excites me the most is seeing that. Also, the Born Again storyline. I've told you guys a little bit about it, about him kind of being away. And again, it fits this storyline too of him actually being away, right? Like if it's the same Daredevil, right?
Right.
We haven't seen him. Where's he been, Trevor? We haven't seen him, and the reason we haven't seen him is because he retired. He decided to have a family. He decided to quit doing that thing, and then what brings him back in is Kingpin going there and killing his family and burning his house down, and him coming home and having to see that and feel it, and Kingpin leaves his OG suit laying on top of the dust, and it, again, like I was telling you guys in the comments, it awakens a version of Daredevil that we've just never seen because, again, me and Ethan was talking about this a few months ago is, look, man, I retired. Right. I let you be. I said, Kingpin it up.
Right, have
Do
fun.
it all. Let's She-Hulk or one of these other people take care of it.
I'm done.
And yet you still come to my house and you attack me, and you attack my family, you kill my family, and you burn my home to the ground. Oh, this is a different kind of revenge, guys. This is a different kind of vengeance.
It's like Punisher almost.
Right. It's exactly like Punisher. It's exactly like that. It's a line that's been crossed, and when it comes to family and children and wives, those things mean a lot to us, and especially when you're a guy that knows you could have already handled the situation.
Right.
You retired before you handled it. And so now you have nobody to blame but yourself. And this one guy. Right. So we're going to see a Daredevil on a mission. I think the little leak clip, Lucas, that me and you seen gives us a real look inside of that he's not messing around. He's not bullshit.
Nah.
He's willing to mess anybody up. He don't care, good or bad. And that's probably, again, because he's on a bit of this Punisher type of rampage because, again, his family's been killed, and like I said, the biggest part to me is that he gave up. He basically told Kingpin, walk free. I'm letting you off the hook, and yet you still come. Why would you do that? You have no idea what you've awoken. And it does. It creates this Matt Murdock in the comics that's just gruesome, and who can blame him? And going back to the Punisher, that's how we know the Punisher, right? He's this visceral, shoot you in the mouth like a clip, and then punch you.
Yeah.
After he shot you with a clip in the mouth, but the punch blows the head up. It's not necessary, but his freaking family was murdered, bro. And so he also is, and Daredevil becomes the same way too. He also is on a suicide mission. He wants to die. He doesn't want to live anymore. Everything that he wanted to live for has been stripped from him. This is a win or go home situation kind of thing for him. It's all or nothing. He has nothing to lose now. Everything that he had to lose has been lost, and it's been taken from him. So, like I said, we're gonna see a really different version of him, and I'm excited to see this new series. We'll definitely be up till 2 a.m. weekly watching it, I'm sure, here.
Sure.
Hopefully, with 18 episodes, we could get a couple episode like we did with WandaVision. We could get maybe 2 in the beginning or something. Yeah. And I hope they don't shortchange us and we say, it's 18 episodes, but they're 14 to 18 minutes long each,
Would be so sad.
That would really upset us all for sure. But Lucas, I know you like Daredevil. You've seen most of the series at least, right?
No, I haven't seen any more than you have.
Okay.
I've only seen 2.
Well, that being said, then cool. Then we get a different, another view with when we have Trevor go. But what are your thoughts? I know you got to be excited for going forward with this new Daredevil now that Disney has it. What are you thinking?
What I did like of the Netflix show, I did enjoy it. I mean, I love the Jessica Jones a lot. That was the only one I watched all the way through. I will say I love Daredevil, and I love specifically the Ben Affleck one. I feel like I remember that being one of the first superhero movies I remember watching.
It probably came out when you were
2003.
Pretty
I'm
young.
pretty sure. Yeah.
It was just
I loved it, dude. I loved it. I know
it does have one of the worst scenes in movie history. That playground teeter totter scene with him and Carmen Electra.
Yeah.
God, terrible scene.
Yeah, but
I do enjoy that movie myself.
So I love Daredevil, and because I know he enjoys it, and from what I've seen. And even just because I watch clips of the Daredevil show, the fight scene at the end of season 3. I know what you're talking about. I've seen it. Everything I've ever seen from it, I enjoyed. I just never, like you said, it slipped out. Never had enough time to watch it. Fell to the wayside. And I would love to watch it with you once Born Again's coming out. I'm sure we'll get through it. But no, I mean, even in. No Way Home, when Matt Murdock just popped in it, we knew that was happening going into it. Remember, you know what I mean? We'd seen that already, sure. But still, when it happened, I was like, yeah, that was awesome because he deserves it. He's great. Charlie Cox is great at Matt Murdock, and even especially at Daredevil too. And when he catches the brick, it's gonna be awesome. Also, I think we should say it in the same breath. Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin too, dude. That specifically, I think, even more so, if I have to say it.
That's one of those Tom Ellis as Lucifer or
Robert Downey
Tony Stark,
Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, it really is. It's one of those match made in heavens kind of castings for sure.
Right, and
so perfect.
I mean, Charlie Cox too has earned it. I would say for sure has earned it.
Hey, well, look, I haven't got to see much of him, but I seen him in Spider-Man, and he played that role like no other.
He's
great.
I'm telling you right now.
Best damn lawyer.
Right? It's how'd you do that?
I'm a really good lawyer.
That dude's the best.
Wink, but I got my glasses on,
Right. Well, Trevor, as the in-house Daredevil guy, that we have on hand now, and I know you've seen every episode. In fact, I think it wasn't too long ago that you went back and rewatched it, if I remember. So having that under your belt and knowing that we got this 18 episode Disney Plus series coming out with, I know not quite the same exact Daredevil that you'd want it to be, but you're getting something similar. How excited are you, and what are you looking for this series to do as someone, as a diehard fan who's seen all the original ones? How do you want it to, integrate what they did, and how do you want it to be different?
I'm definitely of two minds when I come to this, because Disney has given me some of my favorite experiences in my entire life, not just in Marvel, but alongside Pixar and things like that. Disney's been a very good company in general, but there have been times when they've totally botched shit up, and the biggest proof I need is the Kingpin that is in Hulk, in Hawkeye. To me, I was like, that is what has got me worried more than anything else. Is because the Kingpin that is in the original Daredevil show, first moment you see him, you have chills over your entire body. His build and introduction is one of the greatest introductions and builds of any villain ever, because it slowly mentions more and more, and then this final he's amazing, and his entire arc is one. I could not get enough of it. He is so compelling and so fascinating, and there's parts where you see his humanity. He's amazing. And that one we got in Hawkeye, to me, was disrespectful to that character, because it was so devoid of any of the complexity and shit that was originally there. Now, that gives me pause to worry, but at the same time, Disney has pulled through so many times before that I saw plenty of faith in them. And the fact that it is seemingly going to be one of their first MA productions that they're ever doing, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but they're doing 18 episodes. They're bringing back that entire original cast, even if they're not bringing back behind-the-scenes people, which, again, gives me some pause. And I'm like, dude, just hire them. But for the most part, there's a lot of really good things about it. Now, at the end of the day, I feel like I'll just need to see a frame of the movie, just of the show. Just get a scene of the show to see if the writers and the new writers understood what made that show great. And it was because that show, it was a philosophical and a just in general, a dialogue between different ideas that they use these superheroes to do. And I mean, the attention to detail on those ideas and the attention to detail on the look of it, it just all the way through, it just looked unlike any other superhero show I've ever seen, and it felt so real and gritty and the stories themselves, each one of them built in each season perfectly to these masterful ends, and each one overall built to this amazing final season. And so all of that makes me very excited. And as in this talk we're having, when we're kind of talking about all of the threads that are coming through, if they pull off even half of the threads we're kind of talking about with Kingpin and manage to do this and pull it together, the series they're doing now makes total sense. Born Again, he was even at the end of the second season, he was already looking. He's like, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. And so the third season, he only came back. He's like, dude, this dude needs to go away. We're gonna fucking do everything I can. I'm gonna beat him, and I'm gonna be out. And he does. And he says, I'm out of this place. I'm done with this shit. And so he then, it would make sense that he would then go off, settle down, have the kids and stuff. And then that Kingpin, because I think that Kingpin feels the same way about him that Joker feels about the Batman. And that, it's at first he was doing his thing because he believed in his city or whatever. He wanted to build a better city. But at some point, he found Daredevil, and he's like, this is way more fun than any of that shit. We're just going to do that forever. And when Daredevil left his life and Daredevil gave up, I think, he gets bored. So he's like, I'm gonna bring my old rival back into this to spice things up. And I think that he does think of things in that kind of level. And if they do it like that, my God, they could have an incredible show on their hands. So I don't know. I'm very excited, but I am, I'm nervous.
Have your reservations.
Yeah, there's some things they've done recently that I'm like, dude, are you gonna give us a crappy show? Please don't do it. I'd almost, if it ends up being crappy, I'd almost just rather they never would have touched it, because like then it would really hurt my overall experience with the Marvel Cinematic Universe that they totally botched and disrespected the show.
And that's
Really
the risk that
messes
you
it.
that's the risk that you take when you take a character with a series that's already been done, because you do have a bit of an expectation, moving forward, even though technically, it's not the same Daredevil and all of that. But like you said, you can't help when you watch it, you won't ever see it any other way.
Yeah.
I was just recently talking about how when we watched Sandman, that one of the weirdest things ever happened to me is that the entire time that, the Lucifer that was on Sandman was on the screen, I could just hear Tom Ellis speaking in my head. And so I totally relate to that. And if they, 4 or 5 years from now did a Lucifer revival or whatever and recast Tom Ellis, again, you take the risk because people like me are going to be like, oh, well, it's gotta be, and because it's already been. And so we want to see what we already love, and you already love this version of Daredevil. Now, I will say that I think it's good that you feel this way because at the end of the day, they're definitely catering towards you. Right. They like what Netflix did with Lucifer. They realized, hey, look, here's this series that was doing okay. I mean, critically and the audiences loved what they were seeing. It didn't get that great of numbers, and Fox just canceled it. Let's scoop it up.
Right.
And let's bring up hype that it's back,
Right.
And it totally worked. People got buzzing again for Lucifer, and we ended up, really enjoying what we seen. But the difference with that is it was immediately. It was right away. It was within a year of Lucifer being canceled that we found out.
It was just switching companies,
Basically,
really.
Basically, yes. And so it's where we have
Same team
Daredevil's
behind the scenes too.
been
Is the
5
thing
years now. 2017. Yeah.
2017 or 18.
Okay, yeah. So
We
4
go-
or 5 years
I think
Right.
it's
since
2018.
So there's been some time, since we've seen Daredevil, and the longer that goes by, the more nostalgic it becomes, the more
Solidified.
Yeah, right. And so again, I think that's a risk that you take when you're bringing in these characters. But again, I think it comes with this built-in fan base.
Right.
It comes with the diehard fans like you
Why
that
you
are
do it,
that are
ultimately.
there day one because they already love
Yeah.
the Netflix Daredevil series. I wasn't the biggest fan of them, but I'll tell you what I was a huge fan of, and I know he was a part of the series, was the Punisher. And if John Bernthal is the Punisher is in this series, I'm going to shit my pants. I
Right.
love
I've heard
John
that,
Bernthal's
I've heard that they
Punisher.
are. I've heard that.
I've heard it. I've heard
'Cause
murmurs
Kristen Ritter.
that he is in it too, and I've
Yeah.
actually seen some of his scenes, Trevor, from the Daredevil
Yeah.
series
Yeah.
that are
I'm
super
telling you,
good,
bro. Yeah.
like really good. In
Yeah.
fact, did I may have watched him get killed by Kingpin or like beaten really
he gets
bad?
beaten.
Like
It's badass. It's a great
yes,
scene.
yeah.
It's a
If
great
I remember
scene.
right, I remember thinking, God, this is visceral.
Yeah,
and it's funny
I'm
because
telling you, that's how that show is. It's that whole way through. It's like that.
it was funny because I remember watching The Punisher, which is obviously visceral,
Right.
And then I watched the scenes from the Daredevil with John Bernthal's Punisher in it, and I'm like, God, this is worse than the Punisher.
Yeah, it
like
is.
it really surprised me.
It's brutal, bro.
But yeah, I would love to see John Bernthal come back and reprise his role as the Punisher as well.
That's another one of those things where it's just match made in heaven, dude. I mean, he is one of the best actors in the world. Don't get me wrong, but like that dude, he is that, and also he is like perfect for that character. It's just, and Charlie Cox too. I mean, like I want to throw some extra respect to Charlie Cox because Charlie Cox is like, I mean, seriously, like that performance Oh my God! If I, as an actor, could give a third of a good as performance as that, I'd be set for life. That was
recently the
amazing.
guy that plays Iron Fist. Have you guys seen that he's
Yeah,
been
I
in
did.
the media like trying to rally for them for
Yeah.
Disney to let him do
Dude,
an Iron.
I would actually be
that
more excited
series
about
was
that.
terrible. Nah, I'm not gonna say it was him. I can't remember his name right
Finn
now.
Jones.
Uh,
Finn Jones.
no, Iron Fist.
Oh.
Don.
Danny Rand.
Danny Rand. That's it. Thank you.
He was great in that.
I'm
So
not
she-
gonna say it had anything to do with him or the casting. I don't think it did. It was just very badly written and stuff. But
Yeah, especially.
it would be cool to see him.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying, if you're doing it, do it all. Because also in
Yeah.
that same vein, I love Jessica Jones.
Bitter. Oh, dude,
talk
she's
about
Well,
another-
she's already
amazing.
talked about being brought back. I think the only reason they said she couldn't be in Born Again was scheduling conflicts, right?
Good,
which is
good.
too bad. You almost feel like
Yeah.
you gotta wait that one out. You
Right,
know what
get
I'm
her in
saying?
there, man.
This one's
right,
been coming
no
for a
doubt.
while,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, she's also
But, you
like,
know.
on that topic of fitting that character so
Jesus.
well. She is Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
It would be very hard for me to accept
They all nailed
something
them.
so soon, especially with a character so obscure. I don't think it matters.
Right.
Like, do we need Angelina Jolie or some big actress?
Right.
She's already
You
in
don't
there.
ever
you
need
know,
to recast
right?
this
Or what?
role.
You know what I mean, though. Do we need one of
Nah.
these big
Margot
actresses?
Robbie,
Yeah.
like
Do we
Gwyneth
need now
Paltrow,
Margot
yeah.
Robbie in the MCU? No.
No.
And if we do, she's
Something else.
Right? Yeah. She's not
Something that's
Jessica
not already
Jones. She's not a
taken,
street
yeah.
level character. She's Captain Marvel.
Exactly.
Or Rogue, or
Right.
something big. Like. And so yeah.
Right.
You don't waste it on something that's going to be on TV mostly.
Yeah. For sure. For
Right.
sure. For sure. I agree.
Not that Kristen Ritter is not. I mean, she's fantastic.
No, it's
She
not.
is
It's
such a
not
good
that. It's star
actress, but-
power. She's
but
one.
yeah,
She's
you're
an
right.
incredible actress.
Right.
Oh,
Oh
she is
my
more
God.
known as a TV actress.
Yeah,
For sure.
exactly. Which there's
sure.
no shame in that. It's just, I mean, there's different types.
Yep.
You know?
I mean, she's in one of the probably the best TV show of all time.
baby,
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
And her
come
role in
on.
that is great.
So
Fuck.
good.
Right, all
Yes,
the way
it
up
is.
until she throws up on herself and
That bastard wall, man.
Right.
That was one of the
Right.
worst
Tough to
things.
watch.
That was
Tough
one of
to
the worst
watch.
things he ever did, for sure.
God.
Great
yeah.
series.
Oh.
Great series. Tough to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, that whole episode. I mean, you know what I mean? It's with the Anyway,
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'd take all of them back. I mean, as their original. I would want the guy who plays Luke Cage. Since we're now in Marvel Universe, just make him bigger. Just make him like ridiculously big.
Yeah, that was
You
my
know?
only ever problem
Yeah,
with
just do that. We're good.
Luke Cage.
Phil. Now I can't remember his name.
It's
Mike
Will Coulter.
Will Coulter. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
He's
only
great.
problem with Will Coulter ever was that Power Man is big. Power
Yeah,
Man should be like
huge.
LeBron James. He's like 6'8" and big, like a
Fucking
buff dude.
jacked. And
Right.
he's big. Will Coulter's a big dude. He's like probably 6'2", 6'3".
Is he?
Yeah, he's big. He's a big
Man,
guy.
I feel like he was like 5'11" or something.
No,
like
he's
that.
a pretty big dude. Yeah, I mean, you just look on the screen with any of those dudes. He's a lot taller than a lot of those people. He's not 6'8", but he's probably like 6'1" or 2".
they could beef him up though. I mean, like
Oh yeah, they could. No,
CGI,
I say
whatever,
CGI,
yeah.
throw him in there, make him just because his performance as Luke Cage is fantastic.
Sure.
And I mean, if all of this means that we get fucking Jessica Chenoweth, no, that's not her name. Fucking Henwick, Jessica Henwick, back as fucking Danny's love interest that I cannot remember the name of right now because I'm terrible with names. But fine, because she is one of the best. She gives one of the best performances of the entire thing. She is so good and so. So my thoughts on Iron Fist are like this. I totally agree. The first like 4 episodes of Iron Fist are not only like kind of slow, they're like bad. They're like really bad. But even in that, she's great. And then if you can stick through that, it actually starts to get better. And then really in my opinion, the second season, it hits its stride and it's actually pretty good. But the whole time, she even with the most dog crap lines in the entire world sometimes, she just delivers them so good that you're like, who wrote that? Shakespeare? God dang. She is amazing.
But yeah, we're all, I guess, pretty excited for the Daredevil series, I would say. And I mean, it's gonna be a while. I mean, isn't it? Is it 2025?
24.
It might be late
I think
2024. I mean, we're gonna have a break here, guys. After She-Hulk, it's gonna be it's gonna
Werewolf
be
by
nothing
Night.
for the rest
Well,
of the
I
year.
guess that's tomorrow.
I mean, Wakanda Forever. We'll have some
Hollywood,
some-
the Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah, we'll have
yeah,
two specials. We'll have the Werewolf by Night special,
it's
and
tomorrow,
then we'll have,
though.
which is tomorrow night. So definitely want
Tune in.
to stick around and be here for that. And then the Guardians holiday special. But those should both be like just limited small things, so not weekly releases. And then we won't see anything until probably early 2023, around late January, early February. We'll see What If season 2, and that we're obviously excited for that. We loved the first season of What If, and then somewhere right after that we'll see the Samuel Jackson
Secret
Invasion
yeah.
series. Which
I mean, there's
the
gonna be a
trailers are
ton of
out.
them next year, but yeah, you're right. We're really kind of drying up for the rest of the year.
This is it, really. This is it. This whole She-Hulk
okay.
Series is.
We got a movie. Yeah, you're right. We got Black
put an
Panther.
end to the series, at least for Marvel for the year. But yeah, we do have Wakanda Forever coming out. We have Black Adam coming out this month. There's lots of good comic book stuff still coming out for the rest of the year. And not to mention, man, we've honestly had a killer year. I mean, as down as it may seem, because we had Multiverse of Madness and Thor, which weren't as great as we wanted them to be. We had the Batman this year, man.
Right.
We had the Batman this year.
Oh my God.
Which God is still, me and
So
Shane were talking
good,
about this
dude.
morning. I still want to say
Fucking
Everything Everywhere All at Once is the best movie I've seen all year, but then someone will be like, but the Batman came out this year. And I'm like, oh, I forgot. And it's like, dang, and the Batman is just so good. I mean, if the Oscars are held today, the Batman is nominated for Best Picture, right, guys? I mean,
I think they have to. I don't know if they will, but I feel like they absolutely should. And if they don't, it kind of shows that they often kind of have a little prejudice against it.
Yeah, for sure.
Which-
I mean, there's been actual people on the Academy that have said that they would never, ever, check a box that had the name Avengers in it. And that's just, I get what they mean, but it's also just kind of annoying because, again, it shouldn't matter what the title is when you're checking the box. It should just matter which movie was the best.
Right.
That's what the question is. And the titles are irrelevant. It's just which movie did you watch that was the best?
Elitist.
Right, exactly.
That's the problem.
And
with
again,
the
it makes
Academy.
sense because the Academy has been biased for years because it is more of like, we know
cinematic
what an
people.
Academy film is.
Right.
And it's not, Avengers Infinity War. As much as we may feel that it should be at least some of those things, especially like the
Infinity
Batman,
War.
should
and
totally
Right,
be
absolutely.
in contention. Logan.
Because it is a
should
great
totally
film.
have been-
Yes.
I mean,
and
outside
Logan
of
did
just
get nominated
being fun.
for best. Was it
Original?
Best Picture? Best Screenplay, I believe, is what it was. But and Black Panther even got nominated
For Best Picture, actually.
Yeah, right. And then of course Joker. So we've we're starting to get some
Or
more
make some leeway,
acceptance
some headway.
from the Academy, and I think over time as we
God
move
damn,
on,
if they're going to do
we'll
it,
start
this
getting more
Batman
acceptance.
movie's the one to do it. I mean, God. That was, just.
Well, I mean, the first Batman movie to do it was, the Joker's posthumous award.
Oh,
for
Yeah. Sure.
um,
But I mean,
Heath
like,
Ledger.
I mean, if they were going to, like, kind of turn the tide and maybe start, talk a little bit more about him, like, I mean, this one would be a good one to do it on. I mean, I don't know. There's been some other really amazing movies in the canon of, superheroes, but that one is just like it's a cinematic masterpiece. I mean, start to finish, everything
It
in
really
that
is.
looks beautiful,
It really
sounds
is.
beautiful.
Yeah.
No, I was
right,
telling
that
Shane,
was
The story
Trevor,
all
I don't-
makes
I don't know
sense.
if you remember, Trevor, but when I first went to see it, it was early afternoon, probably 10:30, and I drove out to the AMC. I was by myself, and you had said that you would maybe come, but
Yeah.
if so, you'd be a little late and stuff. And I remember sitting in the theater, and I remember over and over in my head going, I cannot do this.
Right.
It is 3 hours. It says it's going to start at 11, but it really won't start till 11:40. And
Right.
then the 3 hour starts.
Right.
And then I can't leave when it's over because there's gonna be post credit scenes.
Right.
So I have to wait for that, and then there's probably one after that.
And then like 20 minutes of adjustment.
Right, and then I'm driving and all these things, and it was just like overwhelming. I'm like, no, and you're texting me like, oh man, I was about to head that way, and I'm texting you back. I'm like, man, I don't know, dude. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to stick around. And sure enough, I remember I start heading down, the stairs because I'm in the top back, and it starts, and like I was telling Shane this morning, there's that scene where like the bank robber comes out and he goes to run down the dark alley, but the bat lights up in the sky, and he looks down the alley, he looks up at the bat light, back down the alley, and then he realizes, you know what, fuck it, it's not worth it, right? and I remember I'm heading down the stairs, and like that's happening, and then I'm slowly heading back up the stairs. Slowly,
Yeah,
and I get into my
strap in.
seat, and I'm starting to sink down into it, and then in my brain, like my thoughts in my head just keep going, okay, well, we can't leave now.
That's right.
This is it. We're here. And to me, I mean, as we all know, with all good movies and media and all things screen related, is that, it's about what hooks you in the beginning.
Sure.
And like, I mean, it really did. Like I always say, what it really let you know is that, again, he is the Freddy Krueger. He is the Michael Myers. He is the thing that goes bump in the night. All those guys that that are out there doing bad things. This is the guy that they're scared of.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is the guy that they don't want to take the chance. Again, the bat logo's on in the sky. It could be for me, and I'm not going to take the chance. I'm not doing nothing. Not tonight, right?
I'm just hanging out, sir.
Right.
Bats out.
Right, and you have that voiceover in that, with Pattinson doing the, fear is a tool, and it's so great because it's so true, and it's so how Batman should have always been portrayed. I mean, it really goes to show you that we've honestly never had a true portrayal of Batman.
No.
Even though we had Christian Bale's, which we thought at the time was, now having this, we can tell that even that was still what I would say. What the ones with Jim Carrey and for Mr. Freeze, what I would say those are, and what Christian Bale's are, and then there's the new Batman. And so Christian Bale, Nolan's Batmans are kind of in the middle of this goofy, weird, created world and this real grounded world. But when we first seen him, we thought, no, it's the complete opposite. This is real, it's grounded. And so, but now that we've had the Batman, we know what it really means to show the Batman. Because at the end of the day, the Batman we seen in the Batman felt like a dude.
Right.
This felt like this was an actual dude, like that this was happening to. And as great as those ones were that with Christian Bale, they at some point, he kind of didn't feel like a dude. And maybe we get that way with Pattinson.
I mean, a billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, all that.
Sure. But yeah, it was just so great. And yeah, so in a year that seems like it's been a down year for comic book movies, we got to remember that we had movies like
some
Batman.
high ones.
Yeah,
For
right.
sure.
And movies aside too, we had season 3 of The Boys that was freaking awesome, man. Umbrella Academy.
Sandman is technically.
Sandman was amazing.
Right.
Sandman may be one of the best things I've seen all year, man.
Yeah, I mean, that is an incredible show.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of good stuff as comic book genre fans. It's nice to live in this golden age of television, and to couple that with the fact that theaters really only exist for comic book movies as it is. So you're getting the best of both worlds as a fan and that stuff. And we really do, even when we're not getting the best quality content, we're still getting what we want. We're still and I think we have to balance that a little more because we, as fans, we just want it all,
Right.
Give us every character ever, We want the Keanu Reeves Silver Surfer. We want, all these
Bring back Ben
Right.
Affleck's Daredevil.
Right. Why not? Yeah, we
Come
want
on, in the
Tom
Multiverse
Cruise,
of Madness,
Tony
like
Stark.
Secret Wars. Yeah, right?
Right.
But we
want
need
all
that
these
guy
things.
from Chipotle to tell us the burrito's going to get too full.
I don't know what he's
Right,
talking
that's
about.
the thing.
Right.
And see, me and Shane were also talking about this today on the show. Is that we used to have Kevin Feige was the guy making our burrito.
Yeah.
And as he'd go down the line, he would tell all these people what ingredients. You know, the director, yeah, that much. You know, this much and this much. But at some point, he couldn't make 40 burritos in an hour.
Time, right?
You
That's
know?
too many burritos.
It's just too many burritos, and
It's
he
above
don't have
his
enough
pay- it's
ingredients.
below his pay
He's the
grade,
only one
yeah.
that works at this location. Like, everything was bad for him to continue to make good quality burritos.
Right.
And the fact that now the fact of the matter is you know, the people that were going in to Kevin Feige's Chipotle to get burritos are now getting 2 or 3 burritos. when they go in.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Like,
You're
I
getting
want
2 or 3 burritos, but when you used to go in, the burrito was good every time.
Right.
And now when you go in, one of those 3 burritos sometimes is good, and sometimes 2 are bad.
Falling apart.
Sometimes 2 are good and one's
Right.
bad. Sometimes all 3 are good, very more rare.
Right.
And then sometimes all 3 are bad.
Right.
And these are situations you want to
Sure.
be in, and it happens when you're given, you know, like we were talking about again, about quantity over quality, and without Kevin Feige really being able to be there to keep his
Oversee
hands and
all
all
of it,
and
yeah.
oversee it all, and you know, tell us that hey, your burrito's getting too full, you know, we end up with some of these things, I think, and
Yeah.
Well,
and it's-
Hawkeyes.
And I think kind of the shame is when you when you start getting those 3 burritos. Yeah, it's cool, but if you get a 3 burrito that are all bad, you kind of think about ever going back again. Like,
Right.
you get one good one a year, and then 2 kind of bad ones. Like, oh, I'll still go back just for the atmosphere, being around my old friends. You know, I'll still get that one good
One
burrito.
bad one's not gonna
But
burn you.
But if you get all 3 bad burritos, because I'll be honest, until Miss Marvel, there were like 3 in a row that were just meh burritos, and I was kind of like, man, I like these.
Including Boba Fett too with that. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so.
you're talking
yeah.
Disney shows.
Yeah, Disney shows in general. But like I was like, man, all 3 of these burritos they didn't satisfy the hunger, man.
which falls into another burrito maker, right? Because we have
Right.
Bob Chapek
Disney, yeah.
and
Right.
Disney overseeing all of those things, and it seems like they're now, you know, looking at Kevin Feige as it is when I went to Chipotle just you know, not that long ago. I'm like, well, could I get another scoop of rice? And they're like, oh, we have to charge you for another scoop of rice. I'm like, really? The cheapest, one of the cheapest foods that exists on the planet? I can go buy you a bag and you can make 5 gallons of it right now for $2.60.
Yeah.
And you want to charge me $1 extra for just a scoop that I want on my burrito?
That's
I,
right.
I mean, and then how's
You're
that work?
skimping me. I
Right?
mean,
Yeah.
like, come
and
on.
exactly.
Screw you.
Exactly. For sure. And so now what we have is we have, you know, Bob Chapek or Disney basically coming in as corporate and telling these, you know, Chipotle employees, hey, you know, if they ask for more than 3 scoops, you got to charge them. So this is like being passed down too. So now
Getting too
Kevin Feige's
bureaucratic.
the manager of this Chipotle, and he's looking at all his
Getting the
employees
pressure.
going, hey, man, shit. You know, we got to do what the big boss says, you know, and he's saying
Sucks.
no more than 6 episodes or no more than this, no more than that. The budgets can't be over this. They can't be over that. And if so, again, then we
Which is pretty stupid of them to be of Disney, to be completely
Yeah,
honest.
but they're spread so thin, man, because they're doing it with Marvel, they're doing it with Disney, they're doing it with everything else they own. I mean,
Star Wars.
I get, and
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I get
right,
it.
Marvel, Disney,
you know,
Star Wars,
portions
yeah, yeah,
are
right.
important or more important the more burritos you got, so to speak. But at the same time,
Especially for
if
streaming.
yeah, right, exactly. But at the same time, you gotta be like, you gotta be open to be able to let your burrito breathe. You know, if you got a steak burrito, you want to make sure you got plenty of room in there for it. But
Right. Where we're getting
That's
to
the
the
problem.
point where you may just want a bowl. You
Yeah.
know?
Get your own burrito on the side.
It may
Exactly.
be time to get a bowl and to get some of
what
the
I
stuff
do.
on the side and
Yeah,
then
get
go
the
home
tortilla
and kind of
ones.
like just make it as you go. And you get like 2 tortillas on the side. You make 2 burritos out of it.
Right.
Yourself.
Exactly.
You do it yourself. You know.
Agency.
You do it. But
Chipotle
yeah.
sponsor us. Yeah. Get us
Sweet,
some
man. Well,
Chipotle.
guys, it's getting close to time.
Yeah, it is.
right.
To check out She-Hulk. So
We need
we
to.
could probably go ahead and
I'm
end
getting
the stream
hungry.
here, and maybe we pop back on whenever it's over. We discuss it a little bit more and see what we thought about the episode and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys joining us though tonight. I know it's late. Not a lot of you guys here probably because it's late, but we're here. So
We're here.
We'll be here. I was joined tonight by a couple co-hosts. Lucas, you enjoy being here tonight?
I did. I'm looking forward to being here tomorrow.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having you tomorrow. Trevor, how about you, buddy?
Help! They have a gun to my head. You can't see it in the frame, but it's just off the screen.
All right, get him out of here.
But other than that, I had a great time.
Get him out of here.
A really great time. It was the best ever.
But yeah, guys, let us know down in the comment section. You know, have you guys seen the newest episode of She-Hulk? Was it good? Did you like it? Is it getting better? Are you excited for this episode tonight? And yeah, stick around. Join us back here in a little bit. We're gonna check it out and probably hop back on here. So, thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you here soon.
Toodles.